So, in the session we discussed yesterday, we learned that there are 1180 Upanishads in total, and among those we have 21 Upanishads from Rig Veda, 109 from Yajurveda, 1000 from Samaveda, and 50 from Atharvana Veda. Among these 1180, 108 Upanishads have been in circulation at large. It is also said that these 108 Upanishads have been taught by Sri Ramachandra himself to Hanuman. And among these 108, Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya has given his bhashyam to 10 very important Upanishads, and those being Isavasyopanishad, Kenopanishad, Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Mundakopanishad, Mandukyopanishad, Aittareyopanishadh, Aittareyopanishadh, Chandogyopanishadh, and Brihadaranyukopanishadh. Apart from these 10, there are also two other ancient or the most ancient Upanishads. Those are Svetashvataropanishadh and Kaushitakyupanishadh. Apart from these, Shankaracharya has also mentioned few of the other Upanishads among the 108 while giving bhashyam for Bhagavad Gita. Upanishads are classified based on what they are teaching. There are 17 Upanishads that talk about different branches of Sannyasa Dharma. There are 14 Upanishads that talk about Vaishnavya. There are 15 Upanishads that talk about Shaivatva. There are 8 Upanishads that talk about the Shaktite culture, and there are 20 Upanishads that talk about Yoga Mahavidya. So, if they are segregated based on Vedas, Rig Veda, among the 108 Upanishads, Rig Veda delivers 10 Upanishads. 19 Upanishads are extracted from Sukla Yajurveda. 32 Upanishads are extracted from Krishna Yajurveda, 16 from Samaveda, and 31 from Atharvana Veda, making a total of 108 Upanishads. Yesterday we have discussed three adhyayas of the first Upanishad that we discussed, that is Aittareyopanishadh. So let's again start with the Shanti mantra like we discussed yesterday. It's recommended that we begin and end with Shanti mantra. Studying the Upanishads, it's for Brahma Jignasu. What is a Brahma Jignasu? If anybody has any idea.
Someone who wants to know more about Brahma.
Someone who wants to know more about
Learn more about Brahma.
Learn more about Brahman.
Inquisitive about Brahma, what Brahma Jnanam is, what Brahma is.
Someone who is in search of the Brahman. Someone who is trying to understand the Brahman. So, any Brahma Jignasu, there is a wide chance of getting into misconceptions, getting into assumptions. To pray that we don't go down that wrong path, we go through these Shanti shlokas. For Rig Veda Sambandita Upanishads, this is the Shanti shloka. Om Vang me manasi pratishtita, mano me vachi pratishtitam, aviravirma edhi, vedasya maani stha, srutam me ma pravahasihi, anenadhitena ahoratran samdadhami, rutam vadishyami, satyam vadishyami, tanmam avatu, tadvaktaram avatu, avatu mam, avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we have gone through how many shlokas yesterday?
23 we did yesterday.
Right. We have finished 23 shlokas yesterday. There are 10 more from Aittareyopanishadh. Let's just quickly revise what we have looked at yesterday. So we start, the Upanishad starts with saying that before anything was ever created, there was only Paramatma. And do they describe that Paramatma like he was this way, he was that way, he looked like this or he looked like that? Is there any description of him at that point?
Which point?
At this point, when they say before any creation, before any other being ever came into existence, they say there was only one supreme being, that being Parabrahman or Paramatma. Do they describe him as such? Do they describe him to have eyes and limbs and or any structure whatsoever?
It is no form exists. It's
No
formless.
form, no attributes. Nirguna Swarupamu.
Nirguna Swarup.
Nirguna Swarupamunna Paramatma. So that is what is described as the initial source material. Let's say it's the source material of everything that there is. So as that Paramatma thought of creation, first 4 lokas came into existence: Ambholoka, Marichiloka, Maraloka and Apaloka. Ambholoka is the most urdhva loka of all. Marichiloka is the basis of Ambholoka. Marichiloka is none other than Akasam, Chidakasam. And then there is something called Maraloka. What is Maraloka? The loka is where Mrityu is common. That is nothing but our Burloka. And then there is something called Apaloka. Apa means water. We also discussed that the thought of Brahman, the thought of creation of Brahman flew as spread across as in a fluid form. So that is what that Apaloka is. Till now that Parabrahman had no form. It has been Nirguna. It had that Nirguna Tattva. Now as this water spread across, what formed? The personification of creation becomes the Brahmandas. Several Brahmandas. Each Brahmanda is a universe in itself. Right? So from the water came the Virat Purusha. Here he is getting form, that formless singular energy is getting different attributes. What attributes? Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. From Karmendriyas come Jnanendriyas, or from Jnanendriyas come Karmendriyas. Which way is it?
From Karmendriyas come Jnanendriyas.
From Karmendriyas come Jnanendriyas. So as soon as Virat Purusha came out, as if a egg hatches, his mouth hatched. From that came what? Vak. From Vak came Vak. His mouth became the Karmendriya. From the Karmendriya came Vak. Vak is the Jnanendriya. Mouth is the Karmendriya. Voice becomes Jnanendriya. And what came from his Vak? Which deity came out from his Vak? Agni. Agni came out of his Vak. Now after after Agni came out of Virat Purusha, then his nose started forming. The nostrils burst out and air came out. From air came what? Vayu. From the nose came Vayu. And then his eyes started forming. From eyes, what came out? This is Karmendriya. Eyes are his Karmendriya. What Jnanendriya came out?
Sight.
Vision or sight or ability to see. From that Jnanendriya came which deity?
Sun.
Surya. Then after Surya came, his Karmendriya of ears came into existence. From his Karmendriya of ears, what Jnanendriya came out? The ability to hear. And through the ability to hear, what came in? Which deities came into existence? The Dasa Dikkulu. The 10 directions that there are. Right? And then formed his charmam, formed his skin. The Karmendriya of skin gave birth to the Jnanendriya of touch. That Jnanendriya, from that Jnanendriya came what?
The Oshadhis and Vrukshas.
Maha Vruksha. And then his Hrudayam came into existence. The Virat Purusha's Hrudayam came into existence. From the Karmendriya of Hrudayam, which Jnanendriyam comes out?
Manassu.
Manassu. From Manassu, which deity came into existence?
Atma.
Chandra.
Chandra. Okay.
Chandra.
Chandra.
That is why even in Purusha Suktam,
Surya Chandra.
Even in Purusha Suktam, we see Chandrama Manaso Jataha Chaksho Suryo Ajayata. Now, Nabhi Nundi Apanam. Now, after Hrudayam came, from Hrudayam came Manassu, from Manassu came Chandra, then came from his Nabhi Apana Vayu. So, his Nabhi, his navel is the Karmendriya. What is the Jnanendriya behind that navel? Apana Vayu. Apana Vayu brings which deity? Mrityu. So, and then the last Karmendriya that came out of Virat Purusha is his Jananendriya, reproductive part. From that came the Jnanendriya of Retassu. From Retassu came what? Which Panchabhuta? Water. So, we have Virat Purusha that came from his own creation of lokas, right? This Virat Purusha has created himself certain Karmendriyas, and through Karmendriyas came certain Jnanendriyas, and from Jnanendriyas came all these deities. As these deities came out, they spread across the Vishwam. Vishwam is creation. Now, Paramatma then gave what to these deities? He added two things: thirst, hunger. Akali dappikalnu ichad. Then these deities asked the Virat Purusha to give them a place for them to stay, and also give them source of food and water. So first he created what? Govu and then Ashwa. These are the two first things that he created, but they say that is not sufficient for them to sustain inside. Then he created Manava. So these deities enter that Manava, and where does each of these deities go? Where does each deity go? Back into the relevant Karmendriyas of the Manava. So what came from the eyes of Paramatma? Vision. His Jnanendriya is vision, and through that came sun. So where does Surya Deva has to go? He has to go back through the vision to the Karmendriya of the eyes of the created human. Similarly, every Devata that came out of Virat Purusha entered the respective part of the human body. Now, even the hunger and thirst, they too asked for a certain place in the for them to sustain. What does Virat Purusha say? You go and live with the deities that are living within the body of the human, or within the body of even the go, and within the body of the Ashwa, or whatever is being created. Now, whatever part of food or water is being offered to the deities within the body of the Devatas within the body, a part of it goes to the hunger and thirst that has been created. This is why when we do Murti Puja is a process where we essentially bring out the Atman that is within us, put it in the different deities that we have, and then do our puja, and then do Udvasana, give Udvasana, meaning sending them back to the place where they came from. Gacha Gacha Yadasthanam. The reason why we have to offer food to the deities first before having it ourselves. Now coming to Pradhamadhyaya Tritiya Khanda. Now Paramatma has created all these things, and he created lokas, he created Lokapalaka, he created hunger, he created thirst. Now he decides it is time to create what? Ahara. As soon as Ahara comes out, what does the human do? He chases after the food with his Jnanendriyas. Food is something that is supposed to be a karmic activity. Eating food is a karmic activity. But what is the human doing? He is running after the food with his manassu, with his vision, with his hearability, with his smelling power. So he is using his Jnanendriyas to run after something that should be done with Karmendriyas. Now, even after realizing that none of the Jnanendriyas work for him to quench his hunger, what does he use? He uses all the wrong Karmendriyas to try and absorb the food. What is the only Karmendriya that can absorb the food entirely? Where Apana Vayu is. Where is Apana Vayu? In the belly button. So, without Apana Vayu, a person cannot, a human or any being cannot intake any energy material, energy giving material. So, the Virat Purusha realizes without his presence within the human body or anything that is created, they cannot understand whether to use Karmendriyas or Jnanendriyas for certain things. Now, Virat Purusha, what he does, he creates an opening in the Sahasrara and he himself enters the body of the human that he has created. What is that dwara, what is that door that he has created is called? If you are making notes somewhere, try to note down the important pointers like for you to remember for a longer time. It is called Vidruti. The dwara through which Paramatma entered the human body is called Vidruti. This is Dinni Anandamaya Sthanam antaru. This is supposed to be the place of bliss. అందుకే ఎవడైనా ముక్తి పొందినాడు అంటే వాడికి కపాల భేదం జరిగింది అంటారు. I don't know if you have seen the DP of my WhatsApp. There is somebody called Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni. He is the last known saint to have attained Kapala Bheda while he was alive. So he was a sadhaka of a deity called Chinnamasta. He was a Chinnamasta Upasaka. Chinnamasta is a feminine deity. She has no head. She is a headless goddess, and she is supposedly the deity that gives mukti to her aspirants. Let's say aspirants or sadhakas. Now, what is this? What are the places where this? Yeah, Aditi.
So what exactly do you mean that while he was alive, he attained that thing that you said? What does it exactly mean?
Okay, so there is a system even for people who have taken sannyasa ashrama. Once they take the position of, once they attain samadhi, they don't cremate sannyasis. They bury them and they break the kapala because they are supposed to be jivan muktas, meaning they don't have to take birth again and again and again. So jivan muktas, what happens is the sahasrara has to break. Why we are cremated and why we are not buried is the Aatman is kinda tied to the chakras that are there in the body. As soon as Apana Vayu exits the body, like we have just learnt about Apana Vayu, which resides in the navel of the body. So once that exits from the Navarandras, from either of the 9 holes that are there in the body, the all the chakras they get deactivated except Sahasrara. The soul it just clinges on to the Sahasrara chakra and it cannot move on until and unless the Sahasrara chakra is broken free, until and unless that Kapala Bheda is done. A soul is not liberated from the body. The reason why we are cremated. So if anybody asks why do Hindus get cremated, this is the reason why.
Why I asked you is because my mother's Nanaji, he passed away like that. That it opened from here on his head. Like he was a big Sri Krishna Bhakt,
Oh,
and that's how he passed away.
okay. So he was alive when that happened.
Yes,
Okay, okay. So
that's how he passed away. Actually, it was the last moment. It
Acha,
just
it
opened
was
and then
because
he
of that.
passed away.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Understood. So, Kavyakanta Vasishta Ganapati Muni is one such sadhaka who could get his Kapala Bedha while being alive. People could come and feel his Kapala having broken, being broken by the deity herself. So he was a Jivan Mukta again. Now, that is called Anandamaya Sthana, that is called Vidruti, the place where the Paramatma or the Virat Purusha entered a human body. Now, this Virat Purusha is what we generally call Atma. We think that the Atma is I. I am the Atma. That is the general assumption. But that Atma is none other than the Paramatma. Except with the conscious of having done number of karmas and it's bearing all that karmic baggage, and because of that again and again that particular Atma takes rebirth over and over and over until the point where it realizes, right, this is not who I am, this baggage is not at all mine, this journey is not at all mine, and there is no one particular I as Sarvajna or Aditi or Kalyan or Srikant or whatever. So where does this Atma or Paramatma, let's say for the moment we consider it as Jivatma, right? We say Jeevudu poyadu dehanlochi. Who is that Jiva that exits the body? Okay, Sherwani, take care. So we talk about the Jivatma, which is actually supposed to be the Paramatma. Anyway, this Jivatma, in which three places does it reside? In the yesterday's session we have discussed. Ayama Vasatho, Yama Vasatho, Yama Vasata iti. Which are these three places? One being between your eyebrows. Second being at your Vishuddha Chakra. Third being at your Manassu, Hrudaya Sthanam. So we have also discussed about Tripura Sundari Devi yesterday. That the feminine energy that helps this, that moves this Atman from Jagrut, Swapna, Sushuptya avasthas is the deity called Tripura Sundari. Where does she reside? And in which forms does she reside? Phalastha Indradhanu Prabha. What is Indradhanu Prabha? As glorious as a rainbow. Rainbow has all the colors. Whatever we are seeing, whatever perception we have of this world, it is all Indradhanu Prabha. It is as real as a rainbow. It is colorful, it seems real, but it is actually not present. So Phalastha Indradhanu Prabha. Shirastha Chandranibha. Shirastha is the Shankhini Nadi that ties the neck to the head. So in the Shankhini Nadi there is a Vishuddha Chakra. That becomes the second residential position for this Atman. And at what state does it get there? In Jagrudavastha, in the awakened
Swapna.
state.
Swapna state,
Swapna. So in
dreams.
Jagrudavastha, the Atman is here. In Swapnavastha, the Atman gets to the throat chakra. What happens there? It's Chandranibha. Is it self-luminescent? Does the moon emit light himself? No. It just reflects the light that comes from other sources. So similarly, what you perceive in Jagrudavastha, that light is reflected in Swapnavastha. Jagrudavastha is as real as your Swapnavastha. There is no difference between Jagrut and Swapna. We do karmas here, we do karmas there. We go through prarabdha karmas. I mean, we go through results of karmas as real as we go through events in Jagruta Avastha. Equivalently real, the karma kshaya also happens in Swapna Avastha. So you must have known this concept. Karma kshaya happens with what? With us going through the results of karma, right? May it be good or bad. For good karma you get good results, for bad karma you get bad results. This is well known fact already for all of you, I guess. So these prarabdha karmas, they're anubhavinchadam antaru kada. I am not able to translate it to English really. Your experience of your karmas, you experience them equally both in your Jagrut and your Swapna avasthas. Now comes the Sushupti avastha. Somebody raised their hand. Deepti ji.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I'm Aditi's sister.
Acha. Okay. Hi.
So, when you say that we experience in both the avasthas, the Swapna avastha and the Jagrata avastha, the karmas, the results of karma, that means, is it also possible that some of the prarabdha karma results are experienced during the Swapna avastha?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There are actually ways of sadhana where you get rid of your prarabdha karma in Swapna avastha. So it's not as painful in Jagruta avastha. That is what is prarabdha karma. It's not parakta, it's prarabdha. Prarabdha is the karmas that come from what actions we have done in the past. Need not necessarily be from the same life, but could also be from the lives before and before and before. So prarabdha karma is your baggage that you're already carrying around. So prarabdha karma is experienced both in Jagrut and Swapna avasthas. And then comes the Sushupti. Sushupti is where the Aatman goes and meets Manassu. Manassu has witnessed everything that we have seen in every kind of state. Now Manassu tells Aatman that I have done this, I have done that, I have done this, I have done that. Now Aatman, it records everything and it takes your baggage. So Sushupti avastha is where your deep sleep state occurs. Now, how does Tripura Sundari get described when she is in Sushupti avastha? Hrudayastha Surya Prabha. When she is in this state, she is Surya Prabha. That is her true reality. Nidra Samadhi Sthitihi. When there is nothingness, when there is no I, when there is no question of what is happening, when there is no dream, when there is no dream-like reality. Try to understand this. Dream-like reality. When neither of these are there, she becomes Surya Prabha. She shines as the sun. That's the true light. And if that gets to a level of enlightenment, that gets to the Turiya Avastha. Turiya Avastha is where the sadhaka has realized he is the Brahman. There is no difference between him and the state of Brahman. There is no difference between himself and Paramatma. That becomes Turiya Avastha. So that is the reason why we wear bindi here and here, or tilakam or kumkum or whatever it is. It is achadana for Paramatma that keeps roaming here. These are called Tripuras. So I think we are done with revision of what we discussed yesterday in Aittareyopanishadh. Now we move on to Dvitiya Adhyaya, the Prathama Khanda of Aittareyopanishadh. There are 10 more shlokas left in this. Om Purushe Hava Ayamadito Garbho Bhavati Adetadretastadetad Sarvebhyom Gabhye Gebhyastejah Sambhutamatmanyevatmanam Bibharti Tadyada Striyam Sanchim Sanchatyadhaina Janayati Tadasya Pradhamam Janma. Oh, it actually says ఉమెన్ షుడ్ నాట్ లిజన్ టు దిస్ మంత్ర. ఎనీవే, యథార్థంగా చెప్పాలంటే పురుషుడిలో ప్రారంభ దశలోని మనిషి రేతస్సుగా ఉంటాడు. ఈ రేతస్సు అనేది సకల అవయవాల శక్తి సారంగా ఉంటుంది. ఈ విధంగా మనిషి తన శరీరంలో తాను పుట్టించబోయే జీవిని మొదట తన రేతస్సు రూపంలో భరిస్తున్నాడు. ఈ రేతస్సుని ఎప్పుడైతే అతడు స్త్రీలో ప్రవేశపెడతాడో అప్పుడు తనని తాను శిశువుగా జన్మింపజేసుకుంటాడు. అది అతడి మొదటి జన్మ. సో హీ సేయింగ్, we have gotten all these deities into the human body. We have gotten different karmendriyas, different gnanendriyas, and lurking behind these gnanendriyas are the respective devatas. So he's talking about the retassu shakti that is in the jananendriya. This retassu is the result of energy collected from every part of the human body. So the man, he is basically bearing the jivi, the next supposed jivi, in his body in the form of retassu. As this retassu transfers to the feminine, that's when he himself is born as the next child. Atma vai putra namasi. And if I say Atma vai putra namasi, you will say, acha, a father is only taking birth as a son, he is not taking birth as a woman. Putra, pautra is also used in Sanskrit as a gender fluid term. It could be son, it could be daughter. So తత్స్త్రియా ఆత్మభూయం గచ్చతి యథా స్వమంగం తథా తస్మాదేనం నహి సంతి సాస్తైనమాత్మానం అత్ర గతం భావయతి. స్త్రీ తన శరీరంలో ఒక అవయంగా రేతస్సును భావిస్తుంది. రేతస్సు ఆమెలోకి ప్రవేశించడంతో అది ఆమెకి సొంతమైపోతుంది. అందువలన ఆ రేతస్సు ఆమెను బాధించదు. భర్త రేతస్సు రూపంలో తనలో ప్రవేశించిన ప్రాణాన్ని ఆమె తన గర్భకోశంలో పోషిస్తుంది. దిస్ ఈజ్ సంథింగ్ దట్ we all know. As the retassu comes to the feminine, she takes it as a part of herself. It does not bother her as a foreign body. It becomes the life form for the next being. Now sa bhavayitri bhavavayittat vyabhavati tam stri garbham bibharti sogra eva kumaram janmanogre dhibhavayati sayat kumaram janmanogre dhibhavayati atmanamena tadbhavayate yesham lokanam santatya evam santata hime lokah tadasya dvitiyam janmaha. గర్భాన్ని చక్కగా సంరక్షించే స్త్రీని చక్కగా సంరక్షించాలి. A woman who takes much care of her pregnancy, garbha means pregnancy, should be taken care of equally. Like as much as a mother takes care of her child, the woman bearing child should also be taken care of. శిశువు జన్మించడానికి ముందు ఆ శిశువు పిండాన్ని స్త్రీ తన గర్భంలో సంరక్షిస్తుంది. Before the child takes birth, the feminine takes care of the child in her garbha. ఆ శిశువు జన్మించిన తర్వాత కూడా అతన్ని తండ్రి సంరక్షిస్తాడు. సో you are reading this, you are reading all this and realizing, acha, I already know this, right? But these are to be taught to whom? To youngsters. The general perception that there is for people out there is Upanishads and Brahma Sutras and all such are supposed to be for old people who have retired from everything and are ready to die in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So tab jaan ke bhi kuch nahi karne wale. It is for the youth, it is for the young, it is for the growing. And also realize that all this knowledge has already been in our Upanishads. It's not something that have been discovered by X-rays and all that. Anyway, ఆ శిశువు జన్మించిన తర్వాత కూడా అతన్ని తండ్రి సంరక్షిస్తాడు. ఆ శిశువును తన స్వరూపంగానే భావిస్తూ అతన్ని సంరక్షిస్తాడు. ఆ పురుషుని ప్రాణాలు పరంపరగా వృద్ధి చెందడం కోసమే ఆ విధంగా చూస్తున్నాడు. లోకాల సంబంధం ఈ విధంగా పెంపొందుతుంది. మనిషి రెండో జన్మ ఏంటంటే తల్లి కడుపు నుండి శిశువుగా జన్మించడమే. సో ఎవ్రీ మ్యాన్ హ్యాస్ 2 births. One, the birth that he has taken himself, and the birth that he gives as an offspring. So everybody is taking birth twice. Atma vai putra namasi. So as soon as the child takes birth, the father is supposed to take care of the child as he takes care of himself. He has to think of the child as if the child is himself. And as this cycle continues, the prana parampara, the lineage grows. లోకాల సంబంధం ఈ విధంగా పెంపొందుతుంది. దిస్ ఈజ్ హౌ the creation goes forward. सोऽस्याय महात्मा पुण्येभ्यः कर्मभ्यः प्रतिदीयते अधास्यायमितिर आत्मा कृतकृत्यो वयोगतः प्रैति स इतः प्रयन्नेव पुनर्जायते तदस्य तृतीयं जन्म तदुक्तं ऋषिणा. Now they are talking about the తృతీయ జన్మ. లోకంలో మంచి పనుల్ని కొనసాగించాలంటే కుమారుడు నియమించబడుతున్నాడు. ఆ పుత్రుడు కాలక్రమంలో తాను చేయవలసిన కర్మలన్నీ చేసి చివరికి వృద్ధుడవుతాడు. మరణం సంభవించి ఈ శరీరం నుండి బయటపడి తిరిగి జన్మ ఎత్తుతున్నాడు. అది అతడి మూడో జన్మ. నౌ వాట్ ఈస్ ద థర్డ్ బర్త్? ఫస్ట్, he himself is taking birth. Second, he is giving birth to someone else. Third, he is doing he grows up as the child, does all the karmas that he has to do as a manushya, and then he takes samadhi, and then he takes a rebirth. That rebirth is his third janma. गर्भेनु सन्नन्वेषाम वेदमहं देवानं जनिमानि विश्वा शतं मा पुर अयसीर रक्षन्नध स्येनो जवसा निरदीयम् इति गर्भ एवैतच्छयानो వామదేవ ఏవమువాచ. ఒక ఋషి తన గర్భకోశం లోపల జరిగే విషయాలు ఇలా చెప్పబడ్డాయి. ఒక ఋషి చేత గర్భకోశం లోపల జరిగే విషయాలు ఇలా చెప్పబడ్డాయి. నేను గర్భంలో ఉన్నప్పుడే దేవతల జన్మలన్నీ తెలుసుకున్నాను. నన్ను 100 ఇనుప కోటలు రక్షించాయి. ఒక డేగలాగా నేను గర్భం నుండి వేగంగా బయటికి వచ్చాను. సో ఎ పర్టికులర్ ఋషి ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్స్ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్ టు హిమ్ వైల్ హీ వాజ్ ఇన్ అ మదర్స్ womb. He says, while I was in my mother's womb, I realized all the deities that we have discussed so far in Aittareyopanishadh, all the deities that exist within the human body. I have also realized, I have also been protected by about 100 they say iron forts. I don't know what exact translation it is, I don't know, but what it means is he's been protected by the mother's womb as if it were a iron fort. And as he came out as if an eagle lands. So sa evam vidya vidvanasmat charira bedharurtha utkramya mushmin swarge loke sarvan kamanaptva mruta samabhavat. వామదేవుడు అనే ఋషి ఈ సత్యాలన్నీ తెలుసుకుని తన శరీరం నశించగానే బయటికి వచ్చి స్వర్గాన్ని చేరాడు. అక్కడ సకల సుఖాలని పొంది చివరికి అమరత్వ స్థితికి చేరుకున్నాడు. సో దెర్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ అ రిషి కాల్డ్ వామదేవ. హీ హెస్ రియలైజ్డ్ ద ట్రూత్స్ ఆఫ్ బ్రహ్మన్. హీ రియలైజ్డ్ ద deities that reside within the body, and as soon as his body collapsed, he came out as a jnani. He reached Swarga and he attained the state of Mukti. So what does this mean? Why did he have to tell I realized the devatas within my mother's womb, I was protected properly within her mother's womb, I came out as an eagle, and as I realized the Brahman, as I realized the truth of Brahman, and my body got I left my body. As I left my body, I reached Swarga and then I attained Mukti. What does it mean? Anybody? Any of you heard of Bhakta Prahlada? So Prahlada, when he was in his mother's womb, his father Hiranya Kashyapa goes for tapas. He goes to seek boons from Brahma, asking for asking for immortality. While that happens, Devendra tries to disrupt Hiranya Kashyapa, and he kidnaps his wife, who was pregnant at the time. So Narada Muni comes and says, you cannot directly go and touch Hiranyakashyapa. What if Brahmadeva gives powerful boons to Hiranyakashyapa and he comes and kills you as you have kidnapped his wife? So Devendra leaves her and Narada Muni takes her to his ashrama. There Narada Muni teaches Narayana mantra to Hiranyakasyapa's wife. But she, being unconscious, the baby within her body listens to that mantra. As he takes birth, he becomes Narayana Bhakta. It is to say that as soon as a baby is formed, as soon as a life comes into the womb, when does life come into the womb? The 3rd month of pregnancy. As soon as the life comes into the womb, that becomes a human in itself. It becomes an individual human. It starts accumulating jnanam from wherever it can. What kind of jnanam? Again, we have discussed 2 jnanas yesterday. Vishaya jnana. Vishaya is things. The jnana of things, which is the nature or the science. That is called vijnana. And the knowledge of the jnana of Brahma, that is prajnana. So any kind of jnana that he can receive, he'll keep on receiving. He describes how the womb was. That Vamadeva describes how his womb was. He describes what all things he learned in the womb. He describes how he came out. It means the children that are in the womb are capable of getting the knowledge from whatever source that they can. Yeah, Aditi.
So actually, when I was in my mother's womb, she happened to read the Sukh Saga, the 10वां स्कंद जो श्रीमद् भागवतम का होता है. So I often tell her that that's the reason I am a born Sri Krishna Bhakt only. Since childhood I have been into Sri Krishna.
Right. So a similar example, even my mother, when she was carrying me, she started reading Datta Charitra, and knowingly or unknowingly I became a massive devotee of Dattatreya. And believe me, none of them sat me down and taught me about Dattatreya. They told me Ramayana, they told me Bhagavatam, but never was I directly initiated into Datta Sampradaya. But you know, that's how the journey begins. Anyway, Koya Matmeti Vayamupas Katara Sa Atma Yena va rupam pasyati yena va shabdham shrunoti yena va gandhana jighrati yena va vacham vyakaroti yena va swadu cha vijanati. ఎవరు ఆత్మ అని మనం ఉపాసిస్తున్నాము. ఆత్మ ఎలాంటిది అంటే మనం ఎవరి వల్ల చూస్తున్నామో, ఎవరి వల్ల వింటున్నామో, ఎవరి వల్ల వాసన చూడగలుగుతున్నామో, ఎవరి వల్ల మాట్లాడగలుగుతున్నామో, ఎవరి వల్ల రుచుల్ని తెలుసుకోగలుగుతున్నామో ఆయనే ఆత్మ అంటే. జస్ట్ నౌ yesterday also we discussed, before the Paramatma entered the body, the human was doing all sorts of nonsensical things. He was doing karmas with jnanendriyas. He was trying to do karmas with jnanendriyas. But now there is an Atma within this body. Who is that Atma? Because of whom we are able to see, because of whom we are able to listen, because of whom we are able to perceive things, because of whom we are able to speak, because of whom we are able to taste or smell. Whatever jnanendriyas are being perceived by the karmendriyas, the knowledge that is being able to be absorbed within, that is Atman. Because of whom all these things are happening, that is Atman. So let me give a parallel example. Is this hand me? Can I define this singular hand as Sarvajna? Can I define my singular limbs as Sarvajna? Can I define my just this face as Sarvajna? I cannot take out any one singular part of my body and define it as Sarvajna. Now think of the alternative. There is no prana in this body. Can I define that body which is fallen down as Sarvajna? So is that person the body or someone else that is residing within the body? If so, who is that person residing within? Who is that energy, or who is that consciousness? Who is that Atman that is doing all these things? That is feeling pain in the fingers, that is eating food through the mouth, that is seeing things, that is speaking out, that is saying all these things, that is listening to what you have to say. That is Atman. You can at no cost a body without life can be defined as a person. Yadhe tat dhrudayam manaschaitat sanjnanam ajnanam vijnanam prajnanam medha drushtir dhruti irmatir manisha jyote smriti sankalpah kraturasuhu kamo vasaiti sarvanyavaitani prajnanasya namadheyani bhavanti. ఈ ఆత్మే హృదయంగా, మనస్సుగా, చైతన్యంగా, విజ్ఞానంగా, ప్రజ్ఞానంగా, మేధస్సుగా, అంతర్దృష్టిగా, ధృతిగా, మతిగా, ధైర్యంగా, జ్ఞాపకంగా, జాతిగా, సంకల్పంగా, మనస్తాపంగా, తీర్మానంగా, ప్రాణశక్తిగా, విషయ సుఖ వాంఛగా ఉంటుంది. ఇవన్నీ ఆత్మకు వివిధ రకాల పేర్లు. There are multiple names to the Atman that there is. What are they? This Atma is the Hrudaya. This Atma is the Manas. This Atma is the consciousness. This Atma is the Vijnana. What is Vijnana? I have already defined Vijnana. The Gnana towards Vishayas, or the knowledge towards materialistic things. Even that is Atma. Prajnana. I have also defined Prajnana. Knowledge of Brahman. Medhasuga, meaning intelligence. The Atman is Antardrushti. There is an inner voice. For every action that we are doing, there is an inner voice. Even that inner voice is Atman. Dhruti, Mati, Dhairya. Your Mati is your mind, or it's not even mind. It is there a better word for intelligence? Intellect. And your courage,
Intellect.
your memory power, your awake state, your sankalpa. What is sankalpa? Your ichha shakti, your decisions to do certain actions. That is also Atman. Manastapa, regret. Tirmana, decision making. Prana shakti, the life force within the body. Vishaya sukha vancha. Vishaya is materialistic. Materialistic sukha vancha. What are all the materialistic sukha vanchas? Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. All these are vanchas. All these are the Atman. All these are the different.
What is vancha?
Vancha means korika. It's korika ante. It's
Wish.
Desire.
desire. So all these become the multiple names of Atma. మనకు తెలుగులో పర్యాయ పదాలు అంటారు కదా, synonyms. All these are the synonyms of the Atma. Esha Brahmesha Indra Esha Prajapatirestarete Sarve Deva Imani Cha Panchamaha Maha Bhutani Prudhivi Vayurakasa Apo Jyotim Shityetani Imani Nachakshudra Mishrani Va Bijani Tarani Chetarani Chandajani Nachajara Yujani Chasvedajani Chodhijani Chashwagavah Purusha Hastino Yatkim Chedam Prani Jangamam Cha Patatrichaye Yachastavaram Sarvam Tat Prajnanetram Prajnane Pratishtitam Prajnanetro Loko Prajna Pratishtita Prajnanam Brahma. This is even this Prajnanam Brahma comes even in Brahma Sutras. Now ఆ పరమాత్మ సృష్టికర్తగా, ఇంద్రుడిగా, ప్రజాపతిగా, మిగిలిన దేవతలుగానున్నది. భూమి, గాలి, ఆకాశం, నీరు, నిప్పు అనే పంచభూతాలుగా ఉన్నది అదే. అల్పప్రాణులుగా, బీజాలుగా ఉన్నది పరమాత్మే. అండాల నుండి పుట్టినవి, గర్భకోశం నుండి పుట్టినవి, చెమట నుండి జన్మించినవి, విత్తనాల నుండి మొలకెత్తినవి అన్నీ పరమాత్మే. అలాగే నడిచేవి, ఎగిరేవి, స్థావర జంగమాలై ప్రాణులన్నీ ఆత్మే. ఈ సమస్తం ఆ పరమాత్మ మార్గదర్శకంలోనే నడుస్తాయి. ఇవన్నీ ఆ పరమాత్మలోనే నెలకొని ఉన్నాయి. ఈ చరాచర ప్రపంచమంతా ఆత్మతోనే నడిపింపబడుతోంది. ఈ సమస్తము ప్రజ్ఞానంలోనే ప్రతిష్ఠించబడింది. ఈ లోకమంతా ప్రజ్ఞాన నేత్రం. ఆ ప్రజ్ఞే ప్రతిష్ఠించబడింది. ఆ ప్రజ్ఞానమే బ్రహ్మ. నౌ దే ఆర్ సేయింగ్ దిస్. వి హావ్ డిఫైన్డ్ ద మల్టిపుల్ నేమ్స్, ద synonyms of Atman. Now they are defining in what all forms this Atman or Paramatma exists. This Paramatma is the creator. He is the Indra. He is Prajapati. He is also all the other deities. He is also Bhumi. He is also Vayu. He is also Akasha. He is also Apa. Apa is water. He is also Agni. He is all the Panchabhutas. What are the Panchabhutas? Bhumi, Vayu, Akasha, Agni and Jala. Alpa pranulga, the whatever kind of low lives that are there, insects or fungi or whatever life form that there is, that is also Paramatma. Bija is seeds. Every kind of seed that there is, that is giving life to another life form, that is also Paramatma. Andala nundi puttinavi, everything that is formed out of seeds. He is the seed. He is the one that is taking birth through the seed. Garbhakosam nundi puttinavi, whatever have taken birth from mother's wombs. Chamata nundi janminchinavi, whatever have taken birth through sweat. Vittanala nundi molakettinnavi, whatever have sprouted from seeds. All of these are Paramatma. Whatever is walking, whatever is flying, whatever is non-locomotive, all of these life forms are Paramatma. Ee samastam aa Paramatma. Everything moves in the under the guidance of Paramatma. And where are all these things? Where are all these things that we have defined so far? They are again within Paramatma.
In the body.
Within Paramatma. Paramatma, that is Jagat. So the entire creation is being run by Atma. Generally we have the perception that only the human body or only the living beings have Atma, right? This is a general perception. Like we think only the living beings, like myself or a dog or a cat or whatever living beings are there, only they have the Atma. But rather the reality is everything that exists, even the stones, even the mountains, even the loha ante metals, everything has that Atma. ఈ సమస్తము ప్రజ్ఞానంలోనే ప్రతిష్ఠించబడింది. Everything has been, the Vishaya Jnanas, Vijnana is a part and parcel of Prajnana, but not otherwise. Prajnana is not part of Vijnana. Am I clear? Am I making sense? Are there any doubts so far? Ujjwal ardhamavutunda? So they are saying
All clear.
everything is a part of Prajnana. What is a part of Prajnana? విషయ జ్ఞానము అంతా ప్రజ్ఞానంలో భాగమే. సో ఈ లోకమంతా ప్రజ్ఞాన నేత్రం. ఆ ప్రజ్ఞే ప్రతిష్ఠించబడింది. ఆ ప్రజ్ఞానమే బ్రహ్మ. దిస్ ప్రజ్ఞాన, దిస్ నాలెడ్జ్ ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ బీయింగ్ బ్రహ్మన్ ఈజ్ వాట్ ఈజ్ బ్రహ్మ. ద రియలైజేషన్ ఆఫ్ everything being Brahman is Prajnana. That Prajnana is itself Brahma. So Prajnanam Brahma becomes an essential statement in Sanathana Dharma. स एतेन प्रज्ञानात्मानास्मल्लोकादुत्त्रम्यामुष्मिन् स्वर्गलोके सर्वान् कामानास्त्वामृतिः సమభవత్ ఇత్యోం. ఈ విధంగా ప్రజ్ఞాన రూపుడైన పరమాత్మని తెలుసుకున్నవాడు తన శరీరం పతనం చెందాక, అంటే మరణం చెందాక స్వర్గలోకానికి వెళ్ళి అక్కడ అన్ని సుఖాలు అనుభవించి అమరుడు అవుతాడు. ఇట్ సేస్ ఈ విధంగా యాజ్ అ బీయింగ్ గెట్స్ దట్ ప్రజ్ఞాన, యాజ్ హీ బికమ్స్ ద ప్రజ్ఞాన రూప, as someone realizes the Paramatma, after the realized being's body goes to dust. Here it is translated as he reaches Swarga and he gets all sorts of sukhas and then he becomes immortal, but it actually means he becomes Jivan Mukta, or he attains the state of Mukti. This is Aittareyopanishadh. Aittareyopanishadh starts from discussing the beginning of creation to the state of attaining mukti. Whatever is in between that is covered. So yesterday we were talking about the Shabda. Doyle also asked what is the first sound that came out of Virat Purusha. I said that is Pranava Shabda. Pranava is not Omkara. Omkara is the symbolism of Pranava, and that Omkara, that Pranava being Tara, Mahavidya called Tara.
Akhandikrita Shabdam Pranavanadam, Khandikrita Shabdam Omkara.
Khandikrita Shabda is Omkara. What are the Khandikrita Shabdas that are in Omkara? A, U, Ma. I'm not continuing the I'm converting it into so Aum becomes Khandikruta Shabda. It is symbolism of the root Shabda that came out of Virat Purusha in the beginning of creation. That is the root of every spiritual enlightenment. That is the root of every sound that there is. That is the root of Prajnana. Just listening to Pranava gives you Brahmajnana. Take it for granted. Just realizing Pranava is nothing but realizing Paramatma. Now that Mahavidya is also called Tara. Today because we got time. Whenever we get time, we'll try to look at the branches of what we are learning through Upanishads. So there is something called Dasa Mahavidyas. I don't know if any of you heard of Dasa Mahavidyas. No? Aditi, Doyle, I think you know about Das Mahavidyas.
Yes, I have idea.
Kalyan garu vinnara eppudanna?
లేదండి.
You must have heard about Agastya Muni coming to south, Vindhyachala Parvata growing up. That starts with Dasa Mahavidyas. Agastya Muni was taught Dasa Mahavidyas by Shiva himself. These are the 10 sadhanas to reach the Shakti forms. It talks about 10 different Shakti forms. Them being Kali, Tara, Sundari, Bhuvaneshwari, Bhairavi, Prachanda Chandika, Dhumavati, Bhagalamukhi, Matangi, Kamalatmika. These 10 deities, these sadhanas of these 10 deities are said to be Mahavidyas. What is actually Vidya? The definition of Vidya is not education. The definition of Vidya in reality is Upasana of female deities. That is called Vidya. So if someone says, I am learning Saraswati Vidya, they are not saying I am learning about Saraswati Devi. They mean to say they are the Upasakas of Saraswati Devi. So among all the feminine Vidyas, there are Dasa Mahavidyas. Among those, the second is Tara. This Tara is none other than Pranavam that we have discussed so far. Pranava is the first sound that has come out of Paramatma or the Virat Purusha, and through that sound came Agni. That is why it is important for all of the Sanathana Dharma practitioners, or in reality for everybody, to do Agni Karya. Agni ki ahuti ivvadam mana dharmamu. So I'll just read what this Tara Mahavidya is, and then we'll try to, because if you understand Tara Mahavidya, you will understand what Pranava is. Okay, so Taram Vyakhyasyaamaha Dvitiya Dasasu Mahavidyasu Shabda Saktis Tara Madhyamatva Dhidaivatam Shabda Saktis Cha Pranavanna Tirichyate Tam Pasyanti Mahuhu Tara Idi Pranavasya Prasiddham Nama Tara Eva Strilingena Tarochyate Iyam Nakasasya Apitvaka Secharati Omkarastu Tadanukarana Matram Naswarupam Khandatvat. Now I said Dasmahavidyas come from Agastya Mahamuni. So Agastya Mahamuni was always a you know how Munis live, no riches, no abharanas, all these things. He had bhasma, he had rudrakshas and all these. So because of a yajna done by Agastya Mahamuni, a certain king had a daughter called Lopamudra. Lopamudra, the name comes because there was in no way throughout her appearance any lopa, any defects. So the king dearly named his daughter Lopamudra. So this Agastya Muni, he went for tapas, he returned to the kingdom and he said, I am to marry Lopamudra, that is the destiny. And even Lopamudra says, I took birth only to marry Agastya Mahamuni. So after realizing Agastya Muni is a Brahmajnani and it is an upgrade for Lopamudra, Lopamudra is married to Agastya Mahamuni. So Lopamudra comes out of her fortress and comes to live with Agastya Mahamuni in a forest. But there are even Dharma Sukshmas even for Munis or anybody to follow. Any woman that has been brought up in a certain lifestyle, it becomes the responsibility of the husband to give her at least a similar lifestyle. He cannot downgrade her life. This becomes his responsibility. Now we have a complaint in amongst modern feminists that all the rules are set for women. Dharma doesn't do that. So Lopamudra says, unless and until you bring me certain jewelry and give me a certain setup within the home, I cannot unite with you. Now Agastya Muni goes out in Desha Paryatana. Here he meets two Rakshasas called Ilvala and Vatapi. So Ilvala and Vatapi are, I'll just quicken the story part. Ilvala and Vatapi are two demons. Ilvala, they are two brothers. Ilvala cooks his own brother Vatapi. Vatapi takes the form of a goat. He cooks his brother as a goat and he invites passers by, Yatrikulan. Basically he invites the Yatrikas that are going around and he offers them food. And as soon as they eat Vatapi, not knowing that it is a Rakshasa, Ilvala calls him out. Calls Vatapi to come out. Now him being Rakshasa, he tears the bellies of the travelers. He comes out as the Rakshasa and they both together eat the dead bodies. So this used to be their routine. Not knowing this, Agastya Muni goes by the same path. Even Agastya Muni is offered, because he is a vegetarian, he takes some other form or whatever it is and he cooks Vatapi and offers it to Agastya Muni. He looks at the food and he knows there is a Rakshasa there and he eats it anyway and just does Jirnam Vatapi Jirnam. With that dies Vatapi. And also he kills Ilvala with his mantra shakti. So whatever jewelry, whatever riches they have looted from the passers by so long, Agastya takes all of them and returns to Lopamudra. But what he had done is, before leaving for his yatra, he taught Dasa Maha Vidyas to Lopamudra. Her husband being absent, she takes Diksha and she practices Dasa Maha Vidyas, meaning she took the Upasana of all the 10 feminine deities. Having done extensive tapas, she becomes equivalent to Parvati. Now, Agastya has returned as a Muni to Lopamudra, but Lopamudra is Parvati, equivalent to Parvati now. Although he has brought riches, he has brought back riches and all that, he has fulfilled her previous wish. He cannot still be with her because now she is equivalent to Parvati. Where did Agastya Muni teach Dasamaha Vidyas to Lopamudra? Near Vindhyachala Parvata. So Vindhyachala automatically becomes the Sishya of Agastya Muni. He says, "You are my Guru, you have taught me Dasamaha Vidyas." So Shravan garu oksar mute lo pettukoru. Right. So as Agastya Muni taught Dasamaha Vidyas to Lopamudra, even Vindhyachala Parvata has learned those Dasamaha Vidyas. Now because Lopamudra is at a state, Aditi.
So I have read this story of Agastya Rishi in a famous book written by Mr. Sarvagna Kumar. In your book you have mentioned this entire story.
Right. Yeah, it's there in Kali. But I don't think I mentioned the part about Dasamaha Vidyas in that point. I don't know.
No, you didn't. Just the story.
Just the story.
Yeah.
So I missed the
Of
part.
the Rakshasas. The two Rakshasas, yeah.
So now he has to attain the state of Shiva to be with Lopamudra. Otherwise, Adi Dosham. Now he does tapas again and he himself becomes Shiva, and that's when they become husband and wife. They start living in Varanasi. Even if you go to Varanasi, you will see Agastya Pratishtita Sivalinga. It is still there. So Agastya and Lopamudra start living in Varanasi, but meanwhile Vindhyachala Parvata, he started doing Dasamaha Vidya Upasana, so much so he got egoistic about his sadhana, and that's when he grows high, saying there is none other as great as me. So Shiva says, you are his guru, unless and until you go and subdue him, he'll not bend his head down, because he has done such a great sadhana called Dasamaha Vidyas. Now so Agastya Muni and Lopamudra come southward, Vindhyachala Parvata, he bows down to his guru and he says, until I come back to you, you stay in this state. And he comes south and he's still supposedly living in south. So anyway, this being the prologue of Dasamaha Vidyas, the Parampara, the Guru Parampara has taught these Dasamaha Vidyas to multiple lineage of gurus, and Sri Kavyakanta Vasishta Ganapati Muni is a mantra drashta. He is someone who has mantra drashtas, are those who see mantras of certain deities. For every mantra there is a rishi. I don't know if any of you do Gayatri mantra, or if any of you do Rudrabhishekam or any kind of mantra. For every mantra there is a mantra rishi. It means those people have had darshan of the deity in a certain form, and based on that form, based on the Parivara Devatas that come along with that deity, they form a mantra. They can see a mantra related to that deity. They become mantra drashtas. So Kavyakanta Vasishta Ganapati Muni, the first disciple of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, is a mantra drashta of a Indra mantra. He has written this Dasamaha Vidyadi Sutravali, which discusses about the true forms of these 10 deities. Now usually what we think of Kali is, she is a deity that has killed so many demons, she has a big tongue and she has these ayudhas and she kills our enemies, that is why we should worship her. It is the general perception of Kali. But that is not, that may be a part of Kali, but true form of Kali is something entirely different. So the true sense of these 10 deities have been explained by Sri Kavyakanta Vasishta Ganapati Muni, and that is what we are reading through. So he's talking about we are talking about the second Mahavidyas, the second of Dasa Mahavidyas. Dvitiyasa Dasasu Mahavidyasu. This is the second of the 10 Mahavidyas. She is Shabda Shakti. Shabda Shakti meaning she is in the form of sound. She travels in the form of sound. The Adhidevata of Tara is Gauri Devata. She is called Madhyama. Shabda Shakti Pranavamu kante veru kadu. The form of Tara is not different from Pranava, the sound of Pranava. We have discussed what Pranava is. It is singular Nirguna sound. It doesn't have any attributes. That sound cannot be defined. Behind every sound is the Pranava. Whatever I am saying, whatever I am speaking, you are able to hear because there is Pranava behind. The Akhandikruta Shabda is Pranava. Danini Pasyanti Anduru. There are 4 kind of Vaku. There are 4 kinds of sounds. 1 Para, Pasyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. Madhyama comes somewhere from the throat chakra. Vaikhari comes from the mouth. Only these 2 are the hearable sounds. Madhyama and Vaikhari are the hearable sounds, whereas Para and Pasyanti are absolutely unhearable by the naked ears. Tara ఎనున్నది ప్రణవము యొక్క ప్రసిద్ధ నామము. So they are saying Pranava itself is called Tara, or otherwise a famous name of Pranava Shabda is Tara. ఉజ్వల్ అర్థమవుతుందా? వింటున్నారా? I don't know. Is this Aditi and Doyal and so I'm actually discussing this because you asked yesterday what is the relation between Tara and Pranavam. So that's the only reason we are discussing Tara and Pranava today. So are you able to understand what I'm saying is what? Because yeah. So Tara anunnadi Pranavamu yokka prasiddha namu. There is Tara is not something different from Pranava. One of the famous names of the sound of Pranava is Tara. తరింపజేయునదై స్త్రీలింగముచే తారా ఎనబడను. That Pranava is something that gives you the knowledge of Brahman. That Pranava is something that gives you that Brahma Gnana. What we just discussed as Prajnanam Brahma. What gives you that Prajnanam is Pranava. That feminine, that being feminine form. That being feminine, that Pranavam being feminine, it has been called as Tara Devi. ఇది ఆకాశ సంబంధము కాదు అనగా ఆకాశమునకు గుణమగు శబ్దమునిచ్చు సగుణ శక్తి కాదు. వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్? సగుణమగు శబ్దమునిచ్చు సగుణ శక్తి కాదు మీనింగ్ సగుణ శబ్ద. What I am speaking out, you are able to hear this. It is saguna, meaning there is a form to it. There is there are highs and lows to it. You can define sa, you can define ma, you can define na. These are all saguna shabdas. There is something called nirguna shabda. They are saying Tara is not saguna shabda. It is completely nirguna. మరి ఎట్టిదనిన ఆకాశమునందు కేవలం సంచరించున్నట్టి శబ్దము. See, she is a Shakti that just travels in space but does not give out saguna శబ్ద. నిర్గుణంగా ఏదైతే ఆకాశంలో సంచరిస్తూ ఉంటుందో అది తార. the sound that travels through space, through any medium for it matters, which cannot be defined, which cannot be attributed anything, which is nirguna, that is tara. Omkaram amak anukaranamu matramu. Like I said, Omkara is just symbolism of Pranava, but not Pranava itself. Like a plus symbol is a symbolism of a hospital. That plus is not the hospital itself. Omkara is also a symbolism of Pranava, but not Pranava itself.
To be more precise, Omkara is just an imitation of Tara, but it is not the original form of Tara.
Right. Right. Khandatvamu chenduta valana. Why is it not Omkara? Why is Tara not Omkara, but it is only Pranava? Because it is been Khandikrut. Because it is been cut into 3 different parts. A, U and Ma. So Patanjali has said the first Shabda that came out of Paramatma is, or Ishvara, is Pranava. Just what we discussed in Aittareyopanishadh. The first Shabda that came out of Virat Purusha from his Karmendriya of his mouth turned into Agni. That sound is Pranava. ఆ ప్రణవ స్వరూపము నెరుగని వారికి అందరికీ అన్ని మంత్రములు వ్యర్థమే. Now whatever mantra sadhana that you are doing, whatever mantras you are doing, be it Gayatri mantra, be it any other mantra, be it Rudra mantra, be it Veda mantras, without realizing the sound of Pranava, all of those go to waste. The Sanskrit alphabets, they all have better expression of Pranava than the sounds that come from things. Say I hit my phone, certain sound comes out, or a glass falls down, certain sound comes down. The Pranava that you can hear from that sound is very minimal as compared to the Pranava that you can hear from the Aksharas that there are in Sanskrit. Sanskritamlo unna varnamulu, the varnas that are there in Samskrita bhasha or Devanagari bhasha, they exhibit more of Pranava than materialistic sounds. So as Srikant is saying, every akshara in Samskrita bhasha is a bija akshara, right? So every bija akshara has that Pranava Shabda hidden behind. More than these Sanskrita bhasha Shabdas, like we are speaking all sorts of nonsensical things, say even in Sanskrit or Hindi or whatever Devanagari Lipi, they give certain Pranava Shabda, but even more than those, Veda Padanugatamulagu Suswaramula Yokka Srenulaku Samarpitamaina Nada Viseshamula Varana Pranavamu Parisputamagunu. So more than normal words formed by these Varnamalas, Veda mantras give out better Pranava Ucharana. Meaning, whatever Chatur Vedas are there, whatever mantra pathanam happens, listening to the sound behind Pranava, behind these Veda mantras, gives you a better understanding of Pranava. While reading the Veda mantras, there is something called Udatta Anudatta, where you have to stress low, where you have to give highs. The Nirguna Shabda behind Vedas is purity of Pranava. దీనిని బట్టి వేద మంత్ర స్వరమును కాపాడు ప్రయోజనము వ్యాఖ్యాతమైనది. దిస్ ఈస్ వై ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ టు రీడ్ వేదాస్ విత్ స్వర. Without that proper swaram, without that proper pronunciation, even Veda mantras are not helpful. So mantranam bhashantarīkarane gūಢార్థ samarpanameva prayojanam. మీనింగ్ మంత్రములను భాషాంతరీకరణ మునర్చినచో గూఢములైన అర్థము సమర్పితం మాత్రమే ప్రయోజనమగును, కానీ దాని వెనుక ఉన్న ప్రణవము తెలియదు. దిస్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ వై వీఆర్ రీడింగ్ మంత్రాస్ ఇన్ ఉపనిషత్స్. ద సంస్కృత మంత్రాస్, దే గివ్ అవుట్ ద ఎనర్జీ ఆఫ్ ప్రణవ, దే గివ్ అవుట్ ద నిగూఢ ప్రణవ శబ్ద. దట్ ఈస్ వై వేద మంత్రాస్ విత్ ద ప్రాపర్ ప్రొనౌన్సియేషన్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. translating it to another language will only probably give you an understanding of what they are trying to say, but it does not give you the experience of pranava. It does not send you to the Gnana Marga. This is why I have been reading the Sanskrit mantras of the Upanishads, even though it is a little difficult even for me. So I think we understood a little about Tara. I am not completing the entire Tara description among the Dasmaha Vidyas. I just brought this to tell you why we are reading mantras in Upanishads. Otherwise, it is easier for me to read Telugu and then translate to English and discuss on it. But reading the mantras, it will directly or indirectly give us the energy of Tara, give us the energy of Pranava. The reason why, let us listen to the Sanskrit mantras and then understand what the Upanishads are trying to say. So I think I am done speaking. If you have anything to revert, if you have anything to add, if you have any doubts, let us discuss and we'll end today's session. After reading the Shanti Mantra. I forgot to read the Shanti Mantra of Rig Veda. So let us not be confused by assuming that we are at a state of realization of Brahman. Let us not get into assumptions, and for that, Om Vangme Manasi Pratishtita Manome Vaji Pratishtitam Aviravirmayedhi Vedasya Vaanistha Srudam Mema Prahasihi Anenadhitena Ahoratran Samdadhami Rutam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tat Vaktaramavatu Avatumam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now it's your turn to speak or to ask or to add some value to this discussion.
What you have just spoken is so profound. I'm still digesting what you have said, so I don't have any questions or anything.
No, understanding Upanishads is difficult. To speak frankly, if we had started with Puranas, you'll have superheroes coming in, you'll have interesting plots, you'll have all sorts of things happening.
Multiverse.
You'll have a next level of madness. But Prajnana is a dry subject. Everybody who has come here has come into a dry subject, be it God's grace or whatever it is. We are talking about the ultimatum. We are not.
Yeah, it is okay because it is summer and we are prone to experience dry weather. So it's okay virtually experiencing dryness.
So the dryness not because of the content. The dryness because the kind of interest people have towards this. Because if it's a story, you can listen to Ramayana and get a moral out of it. If it is Bhagavatam or Bharatam, you can get to know the characters. You can determine the characters for yourself. You can see what you want to take from all of these. But when it comes to Prajnanam, there is no question of taking what you want. There is no question of thinking what you want. There is no question of assuming something else other than what is being said. Based on Ramayana, many people have recently become devotees of Ravanasura. Many, even in the mainstream films also, they are saying Ravana is a much better character than Rama, and these are all their perceptions of the Puranas. So Srikant loves the people who appraise Ravanasura. He is just a fan of those people.
Doyle has a doubt, I guess.
Yeah, Doyle.
Yeah, so my question is there any order for these Upanishads, or you can read them in any order? Like 108, right?
Yeah.
So
we'll go through the Rig Veda Upanishads, then Krishna Yajurveda Upanishads, then Shukla Yajurveda Upanishads, then Krishna Yajurveda Upanishads, and then Samaveda Upanishads, and then Atharvana Veda Upanishads. So he just said people who glorify Ravana awaken a cannibal in Srikant. Okay. So
I
this
know.
is the order of things we'll go through. Next week, next Saturday, or this weekend rather, we'll meet to discuss something called Kaushitaki Brahmana Upanishad. This is a little interesting for people because it talks about death, what happens after death, where do the souls go, how do you liberate yourself after death, meaning there are certain karmas you can do even after attaining the state of samadhi. There are things you need to know, like that's a unknown area. So what to do, what not to do, how to get a better lifestyle or whatever it is, that is all discussed in Kaushitaki Brahmana Upanishad. It does not mean a Upanishad for the Brahmins. We'll discuss what it is in the weekend. For people in general, week starts on Monday and ends with Saturday and Sunday. But for people following Sanathana Dharma, week starts with Adivara and ends with Shanivara. So, in a way, we are ending our week with Upanishads. We are starting our week with Upanishads. So that's a good thing. Let's.
So basically, it is a metaphor. Sarvagna, it is a metaphor. You said what happens after death. So end tarvata edaithe beginning undo adi Upanishattulu. Modalu tudi anta Upanishattulu ani cheptunnanu.
So I think what you said, no, that people are glorifying Ravana. I think that these are just ways of demeaning Sri Ram, just to convince those who follow Sri Ram. It's just stupidity, you know, the wokes are doing all across.
So the recent claims have been that Ravana had Sita in his Ashokavana for about a year, and even for that long time he did not touch her, so he becomes a pious person. Mahan Admi. So, with that logic, anybody can kidnap women and not touch them, making them Brahmajnanis and Mahottamas. But the reason why Ravana did not touch Sitamma is because even before the birth of Rama, Ravana takes over the kingdom of Sri Lanka from his brother Kubera. Kubera is his cousin, elder brother. Kubera had gotten the boon of Sri Lanka from Shiva. So Ravana, being jealous of his brother getting that boon and not himself getting that from Shiva, he just drives him away and occupies that land. He still has he has all the Arishad Vargas. People say he is Maha Ravana Bhakta, he is a devotee of Ravana, he has seen Ravanasura, he has seen Shiva, he got boons from Shiva, all these things. Every Asura has gotten boons from deities. That doesn't mean they are not influenced by Arshad Vargas and all these things. People assume the moment you turn spiritual, all the other qualities go down. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all these things go down. But that is not true. So even people discussing Vedanta, they say, if you have many urges in your life. Just 1 second though. I shouldn't say you. We have many urges in our life, and in the name of spirituality or in the name of Adhyatmikata, trying to control them, trying to step on them is equivalent to stepping on an active snake's foot. So as long as you keep your leg on it, it is there trying to get out of your clutches. But the moment you take your leg off, the moment you look away, the moment you are not ready to face it, that's when it raises its hood. And thinking that if you are spiritually inclined, you do not have any of the Arishad Vargas, he is a Mahashiva devotee, doesn't mean he is not an Asura. He is still an Asura. So being that big a Shiva devotee, he sees Rambha, who is the wife of his brother Kubera, and he goes and he rapes her. Because of that, Rambha,
not his son's wife, as like his daughter-in-law. Rambha is daughter-in-law
Rambha is
of
daughter-in-law. Okay. So as he does that, she gives him a curse, saying the moment you go and touch a woman without her permission, you will die a horrible death with your head breaking into a million pieces. Her curse being powerful, Ravana, knowing he will die if he touches a woman without her permission, he does not touch Sita Devi, and he begs her to accept every day. Every day throughout the year he goes to her, he asks her, you accept my request. That's when she shows him the twig. Idi chupistundi kada.
Darbha.
She shows him a grass and she says, you're as valuable as this.
It is like she puts a blade of grass, that's Darbha, places in between Ravana and her. It is like whatever is Ashaucha or very bad that comes, you put Darbha there. So he is coming there. It symbolizes two things. One, you are the untouchable one, you are the bad one, and two, you are as compared to a blade of grass. If you are coming to me, because she is Adi Parashakti, she is not a normal lady who is crying for her husband. Unfortunately, the feminists today, they glorify the unwanted people and they ignore the wanted people, right? And that is so unfortunate. You know how she talks to Rama when Rama says, no, this is this deer, it seems like an asura, I don't want to go. Then she says, looks like I married a woman who is scared to go and fight. That is when he goes against Maricha. And then she says, if you can't fight, let me go and do it. She is not as said that she was obeying and she was just staying like that. It is like, there is a great heavyweight boxing champion. You don't see him always boxing people, right? Most of the time he'll be like you and me, normal. Only when it requires, he goes and boxes against the opponents. Same goes with Sita as well.
There is another new claim that
What?
Ravana only kidnapped Sita because Rama and Lakshmana, they insulted his sister Surpanaka.
Okay.
The reality is Rama and Lakshmana do not lay a finger on Surpanaka in the beginning. She comes after Rama saying, I want to marry you, I want to be with you, and all these things. Rama, being an Ekapatni Vrata, he says, I don't want to be with any other woman other than Sita. She goes to fall after Lakshmana, and even Lakshmana denies her, saying, I am in charge of protecting my brother and my sister-in-law. I am doing Mata Pitra Seva. He doesn't say brother and sister-in-law. He's saying, I am serving I am serving someone who is equivalent to my mother and my father, which is Rama and Sita. So I cannot marry you. So both people have mentioned Sita and they have rejected Surpanaka. So she gets agitated and she pounces to attack Sita Devi. That's when her nose and ears are cut off and she is sent back to Lanka. The moment she is sent back to Lanka, she starts crying to Ravanasura, saying, my ears have been chopped off, my nose has been chopped off, I have been humiliated by Rama and Lakshmana. Ravana doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn about what she has to cry about. Also, there is a plot where Ravana has killed the original husband of Surpanaka himself. So he has no love and affection for Surpanaka. But the moment Surpanaka mentions that there is a beautiful woman back with Rama, that's when he pounces out of his throne and he says, Acha, you have been humiliated, for you I'll go and fight Rama. But he actually went for Sita. He is a pure womanizer. So without actually stating what is in Ramayana, writing down their own alternative versions, Ravana will definitely be a hero. But if you look at Valmiki Ramayana, the Yatha Tatham of Ramayana, Every step that Ravana has taken is selfish and because of his Arshad Vargas. Doyle has asked, how can we be responsible for karmas in a dream state? Most of the time when I am dreaming, I don't have control and I just go through the scenario. If I am not responsible for the karma there, then how is it my karma? To ask before this one, do we collect karmas in dreams too? Yes, the actions, whatever is happening in Swapnavastha, even there you are bearing karma phala. Whatever is happening to you is also bearing karma phala, and also whatever actions are happening there, that is also karma. How am I in control when dreams are just happening to me? That's Doyle's question. But while talking about Tripura Sundari, we said Phalastha, Indradhanu Prabha, Shirastha, Chandranibha. This Swapnavastha is just reflecting your ideologies, your thoughts, your true self in Swapnavastha. Whatever you are perceiving in Jagruta however your psychology forms in Jagruta however you would take calls in Jagruta without any rules. That is how you would reflect in your Swapnavastha. Am I clear?
It's still going above my head.
Aditi,
Yeah.
So just to add to that, what I have read in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Kali Yuga approaches Parikshit, which is Abhimanyu's son, so he says that, you're all bad and I won't let you be here. So Kali Yuga says that I do have some good qualities as well and you must consider them also. So one of those qualities, just for your understanding, Doyle, I'm saying, one of those qualities is that what bad you do in your dreams or in your, in your mind doesn't give you the results of that. It doesn't give you the fall of that. But if you do good in your mind or in your swapna, it gives you good results of that. That is a quality of Kali Yuga that I have read in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
It is actually the sankalpa. If you have the sankalpa to do something very bad, that doesn't necessarily give you the karma phala of doing those actions. But if you have a strong sankalpa, say to do Annadanam in Kashi for thousands of people, and you keep dreaming of that, the karma phala of doing the Annadanam is attributed to you. But it has to be Manasa Vacha Karmana. Maybe not by Karmana, maybe not by actions, at least by Manasa Vacha. You have to be persistent on doing those good actions, although you are not financially or physically capable of doing those good actions. But when it comes to Jagrat and Swapna, this is very clear. There is no difference between Jagrat and Swapna. The actions we are doing in Jagrat are as real as the actions that we are doing in Swapna. Here we know that there is a psychology. We know that there is a way that we behave. Today, if there is no law, I know how I will behave. I know what rubbish things I will do. I know what great things I will do. Same goes for everybody that is in this room. You know the worst part of you. You know the worst of your desires. You know the worst of your wants. You know the worst of your thoughts. What people are calling impulsive and intrusive thoughts these days. All of those you know right now. They are Indradhanu Prabha. They are as real as a rainbow. But still they are what you are. But the moment you go into Swapnavastha, that becomes what? A reflected reality. You are taking light or you are taking things from Jagruta and you are reflecting them in your Swapnavastha. So the way you behave here, the way you would behave here, if there are no rules set, if there are no laws or if there are no whatever, is the way you would behave in your Swapnavastha. Whether or not you believe you have control over them, it is who you are. And the things that happen to you in Swapnavastha, maybe we die a million times in Swapnavastha, but still that is experiencing the karmas that we have done in the past. That's what I said. To ఈ ప్రారబ్ధ కర్మల్ని అనుభవించడానికి ఉన్న ఒక మార్గం స్వప్నావస్థ. To bear the results of karmas we have done in the past, one way, okay. One way is through swapnavastha. So both bearing the results of actions and doing actions are valid both in swapnavastha and jagratavastha.
One more question
Sarva,
I had was,
can I add something?
Yeah.
I mean, the book was suggested by Sarva. Sripada Vallabha Charitamritam. I just want to quote something about the karma in dreams and karma in reality, how it is cleared, how they benefit. See, the one who has created us has different ways of clearing our karma. The cleansing of karma can be done in different ways. One, when we perform a yajna or a yoga or some yagam, or when we recite mantras, the power of mantras can actually reduce the impact of karma. That's what Srikant and I spoke yesterday about, how the karma impact can be reduced. So when things are not in our control, when we pray to God, whoever is in charge of that particular whatever karma you have, the God has the...
Not pray. When we do our own sadhana.
Okay, sadhana. When we do our sadhana, sometimes the karma is cleared even in our dreams. Sometimes the cleansing of karma is transferred from reality to dreams, so that even our karmas are cleared in dreams. The reason being, the dream is actually an interpretation or the manifestation of whatever you are thinking in reality or whatever is there in your mind.
I will just add to what Ujjwal said, just a small story. You can continue, Ujjwal, after that. It is like one of the devotees of Sri Krishna, he prays to Sri Krishna and then he asks moksha. Then he says, you have 7 more lives. Then he says, I don't know what is going to happen in the next tomorrow. If you ask me, forget about next life. So I want moksha now. Then he fights with Sri Krishna. Then he says, okay, granted. All the next 7 nights, what happens is every night becomes one janma for him in the dream. So whatever the karma he has to go through, he gets it done in the dreams. And after 7 nights, Sri Krishna gives him the moksha. If you see the 7 digit with Sri Krishna, it is more of numbers than anything. The lifting of Gordhanagiri, he lifts the Gordhanagiri 7 nights. Okay. And then you do Bhagavata Saptaham 7 days. Why 7? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's it. For anyone, only these 7 days are there. Let him be Ambani or any roadside beggar or any great politician or a child. Everyone has those 7 days. Someone will take birth in one of those 7 days and will die in one of those 7 days. 7 is common. So that's why he does all this with magic with 7. No big science.
In fact, like the path that I follow, Sri Krishna's Bhakti, there are so many such examples where if a guru blesses you, so what karma you have to bear, it goes in the dream form and you bear it there. So lot of such examples are there.
Okay, I think we'll not extend past 9. Let's stop here. We'll meet again on Saturday.
15-20 minutes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
bye bye.